Hello everyone, my name is D. Sandeep. I am working as an assistant professor in the Department of Information Technology of MLR Institute of Technology, Hyderabad. I am discussing about the Python programming languages. So in last class, I discussed about that built-in data types, and in that built-in data types, I discussed that int data type. So that int data type represents a decimal number which does not contain a decimal point. And also we discussed about that int data type. That is, we can represent that int values in 4 ways. That is, a decimal form values, or in next one is binary value, and next one is octal form value, and next one is hexadecimal value. So these are all the things we discussed, and with that we also discussed about base conversions. That is, built-in functions. We can convert from one base to another base by using bin function, hex function, or oct function. So this is the last video discussions, and today we are going to discuss this about float data type, complex data type, bool data type, sequences in Python. First we will discuss about this float data type. So that in last class we discussed that int. So int represents what? A number which does not contain a decimal point, and float data type can represent a value which contain a decimal point number, So this is an example. See here, this is an decimal point numbers. That means int data type and float data type represents decimal values only, but that int data type does not contains decimal point, and float data type values contains decimal point. And for every data type, we are commonly discussing about 3 built-in functions. The first is type function, which is used to check the type of the variable. And next one is id function, that we are going to get the address of that variable, that is an object. And next we are going to use the print function, which is used to print the value. So let me see an example about these 3 functions which belongs to float data type. See, a equals to 10.30. Now print type function and then printing that which type of variable. Next, and we are going to get the address of that variable by using id function and print that address. And finally we are going to print the value of the variable. I save this program, then run this. So Python and then test.py. See here this is the which data type of the value, or which type of the object? Float type of the object. And this object is created under which class? Float class. And this is the address of the value, that means address of the variable, and this is the value. So 10.3. See, for example, if you are going to get again run, see what will be happen here. If you observe here, this is one value we get, and here one address value will get. So for every running of this program, will get what? Different address values. It means for every runtime, for every running of this program, the address will be changed. For example, again if I run this program, the address of this object will be changed. See, here we are getting one address value, and here we are getting one address value, and here we got that another address value. See, it means for every runtime of this program, the address of that object will be changed. So this is the one important note we have to observe while running these programs, and whenever we are going to get the address of the objects. Anyway, this is the one thing. Next, here in float, we can represent the float values. In scientific notation. Which we can represent what? Which we can call, that is exponential form. How can we represent that exponential form values? Means, for example, a equals to, I have one value, that is 12,000.0. This is the one value I have, that is float value. Now I need to represent this float value in scientific notation, or we can say that is exponential form. How we can represent means there is an one notation that is E or capital E, small e or capital E. So by using these notations we can represent the float values. See now 12 E, how many zeros we have? For example, so 3. So 12 E 3. That E represents power of 10. That E represents what? Power of 10. So this is the scientific notation. We will see one example on this. See, so 12 small e and then 3. Now see, I will run this program. What happened? See, 12,000.0, and this is also float type, and this is the address of that object, that is float class object. So we can also represent the float values in scientific notation. That scientific notation represents with the symbol of, that is small e or capital E. For example, if you use capital E, and here I am going to change some value, that is 1.2. We will see some difference. Now see, once again I will run this program. Now we will get this output, what? 1200.0, because of here we given 1.2. So that is the representation of the float values by using scientific notation. Next we have another data type, that is complex data type. After the float data type we have what? That is complex data type. What is this complex number? A complex number is a number that is written in the form of a plus bj or a plus b capital letter j. We can either we can represent what? Small j or capital J. So if you are going to represent that numbers in the form of a plus bj, then that is what? Complex type values. Example here is 3 plus 5j. 3 plus 5j. See here in this a plus bj contains two parts. One is that a is represent real part of the complex number, and b represents imaginary part of the complex number or imaginary part of the number. And j represents j equals to square root of minus 1, or we can say j square equals to minus 1. Anything, both are same. So a represents what? Real part of the number, and b represents imaginary part of the number, and j represents the value is square root of minus 1 or j square equals to minus 1. So this is the representation of the complex values. And now we will see one example through a program. See, a equals to, for example, if you take 3 plus 5j. Now see, we will run this program. Now what is the output of this program is, I save this program once again. What happened? So complex number or complex type, and this is the address of the object, and this is the value of the complex number. Now see, if I am going to run once again, what we are going, the difference is changing the value of the address. That means changing the address of the object. So for every runtime of this program, the address will be changed. This is very important statement. Anyway, this is about complex data type. So the complex data type values represent what? A plus bj, that is here 3 represents real part of the number, and 5 represents imaginary part of the number. For example, you can, if you are going to represent the real part of the number as an int values, then you can represent that int value in the real part of the complex number either with the binary form, or either in the hexadecimal form, or in the octal form, right? See, for example, I am going to represent 0b1 1. See what will be happen. Let me run this program. See what? 7 plus 5j. So if you are going to represent the complex value, that means the real part of the number, as an int, then you can also represent that int value either with the binary form or hexadecimal form or octal form. Okay. Next, there is another example. We can also represent the complex number in this way: minus 1.5 minus 3.5 or 3.6j. We can also represent like this one. Now see, minus 1.5 is what? Real part of the number, and 3.6 is what? Imaginary part of the number. We can also represent the imaginary part and real part as an float values. Now see, we'll run this program once again. What happened? See, minus 1.5 minus 1.36j. So there is no problem. We can represent the complex numbers either with the int values or with the float values. So that is the one that is one of the important statement. Next, here for example, a equals to 3 plus 5j. A equals to 3 plus 5j. See, a equals to 3 plus 5j. If you want to access only real part of the number, then we have some attributes which we can say inbuilt attributes, that is a dot real. And if you want to access only imaginary part of the complex number, then we have one inbuilt attribute, that is imag. We can call that by using object. Then here we are going to get 3 as an output, and here we are going to get 5 as an output. So let me see an example through this program. A plus 3 5j. So I am removing all this code. So 5j. Now print a dot real. Now I will run this program. We'll get what? 3.0. So that is real part of the number. Similarly, if I are going to use another attribute, print a dot image, then we will get what? Only imaginary part of the value. See, 5.0. So by using these two inbuilt attributes, that is real attribute and imag, that is imaginary attribute, we will get individual values of the complex number, that is real part of the number and imaginary part of the number. So this is about what? Complex data type. Next, what is the data type we had? That is bull data type. So this is very simple data type. It seems it is a simple data type, but this bull data type is useful to check the conditions. That means whenever we are going to discuss about the control statements, at that time this data type will be useful. Why means, that is, here bull data type in Python represent Boolean values. So there are only two Boolean values in Python. One is true and T must and should be capital letter, and next one is false. So here F is also must and should be capital letter. Why means, because of in another programming languages, the bull type values, that is Boolean values, true and false are represented or started with small letters only. But in Python we have to observe the true value is represented with the capital letter, and the F, that is false value, it starts with the capital letter. Next, internally the Python represents true, that is 1, and false as 0. False as 0. Let me see one example through this program. So I am deleting this program. A equals to true and B equals to false. Now print, first I will check, print the type of A, next print the type of B, and then print id of A to get the address of that object and print the id of B. Okay, now next print A value and print B value. So this is the program. Now I will run this program. We'll get that type of the value, that is type of the object and address of that object and values. See, both true and false are bool type, and these are the two address values of that objects, and this is the values. Okay, so this is the bool data type. Next, as we discussed the last statement of that bool data type, internally the Python represents what? True is, that is true as 1 and false as 0. So we'll see. Now print A plus A plus A, or we will write one program. So print true plus true. So true represents 1. So 1 plus 1 will become 2. Now let me see what is the output we'll get. So 2. So another example. So print false. For example, if you print like this one, then we'll get what? See, false only. So that's why we have to add. So false plus false. So false represents what? 0. So 0 plus 0, 0. Okay. So in this way we can represent what? True as 1 and false as 0. So this is about what? Bool data type. Next we have another data type, another type of data type, that is sequence type. So what is the sequence? Means a sequence represents a group of elements. Sequence represents a group of elements or items. For example, if you take an int, for example, if you take an int value or string, hello. What is this one? This is a what? A word which contain a group of characters. Similarly, in Python programming language, you consider this is a string which contains or which represents a group of characters. So that is called sequence. Of course, under the sequence type, again we classified that 6 types of sequences. First one is str, which represents the string type. Next one is bytes, and next one is byte array, list, tuple, range. So these are the 6 types of sequences in Python. So that sequence represents a group of elements or items. In this one, first we will discuss about the str, that is string data type. See, in Python, str represents string data type, and a string is represented by a group of characters, as we discussed as an example. Next, a string is a sequence of characters which represented with single quotes or double quotes. That means if you are going to represent a string value, you must and should enclose with single quotes or double quote. Either you have to represent with the single quote or double quotes. Let me see one example through this program. A equals to, for example, hello. Or we can also represent what? In single quotation. For example, same. Otherwise, I will print Python. Right now, I am going to check the type of the object by using which function? Type function. Next, so print the type of B, and also I need to access the address of the two objects. So by using id function, right? So id of B, and then print A and print function and passing value, that is variable B. So run this program. What happens? See, both are, so it means we can represent either with the double quotes or with the single quotes. both are string class, and this is the address of the string objects and this is the value of that objects. So next, after this one we have one important statement, that is, for example, if you want to represent, if you want the represent string value in multi-string literal way, that means, for example, hello, hi, in this way, this is called multi-string literals. This is called what? Multi-string literals. If you want to represent these multi-string literals, if you want to represent these multi-string literals, then we have to use triple double quotes or triple single quotes. That means by using single quotes or double quotes, we cannot represent multi-line string literals or multi-string literals. So for that purpose, we have to use triple single quotes or triple double quotes. Let me see one example. A equals to, okay, for example, hello, and then hi. Here I close the string with the double enclosure. This is the multi-line string literals. So actually here I am representing these multi-line string literals with the double quotes. First we will see print A. If I am going to print this program, if I am going to run this program, we will get what? An error. See, this is the error. So if you want to represent the multi-line string literals, then you have to use what? Single triple quotes or triple double quotes. Now I save this program. Now see, I will run and we will get the output hello, hi. So if you want to represent the multi-line string literals, then use single triple quotes or double triple quotes. Okay na? So this is the one thing. Next, another advantage, another statement of these single triple quotes and double triple quotes is, see, if you want to represent, for example, A equals to, this is Python, and if you want to represent a Python string as a Python word as a in single quote, at that time you can use either triple double quotes or triple single quotes. It means if you want to represent any word as a or in a single quote or double quote, then use triple single quotes or triple double quotes. Now see one example. A equals to, this is Python, but I need to represent what? This Python as in single quotation in the output. Now see, print A. What happens? See, this is the Python. So in this way we can use triple single quotes and triple double quotes. This is about what? String data type. Of course there is an some operations are there, that is slicing operations and repetition operations. So about these two operations I will discuss in next video. And today's summary is the main advantage of exponential form. That means we are representing that float values by using scientific notation, which we can say exponential form. What is the advantage to represent the float values in scientific notation or in exponential form is, we can represent the big values in less memory. We can represent the big values in less memory. Next, we can use complex type values generally in where scientific applications or in an electrical engineering applications. Next, in Python we can represent a char value. We can represent the char value also by using string type, that is str type, because in Python explicitly there is no data type for representation of char values. Hence we have to represent the char value with the str type only. That means, see, let me see one example for this statement also. So for example, ch equals to a. Now print, if you check this, see here we assign what? One character value to that object ch. Now I am going to check the print, and then directly I am going to print the value. See here I need to pass which ch. I run this program. See, hence we have to represent the char values, then use which type? str type. There is no specific data type to represent the char values. So this is about the summary of today's class video. Thank you.